There's something about being naked in front of someone that changes everything. I didn't know that until it happened to me. 1 minute, I'm diving into the creek to escape the heat of the hottest summer day in years, and the next, I'm standing there, completely exposed, watching my crush lick his lips like he was starving for a taste of me. The worst part? I didn't know if I should be mad that they took my clothes, or if I should be turned on by the way Tyler was looking at me. The thing is, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And from that moment on, I couldn't stop thinking about him. It was the hottest damn day of the summer. I remember the cracked pavement steaming, the cicadas screaming in the trees, and me, barely 18 and too broke for the public pool. My family didn't have much, but we had a nearby creek. It wasn't much, but it was free and cold, and right then, that was enough. I'd been there a few times before, always alone. No one ever showed up. So I did what I always did. Stripped down, left my clothes on a rock, and dove in bare. The cold water hit like a slap, but it felt good, like being cleansed body and mind. But when I swam to the edge and reached up for my clothes, they were gone. My heart stopped. Then I heard it, laughter. I turned around, and there he was, Tommy, the school bully, grinning like the devil himself with his goons behind him, and standing just to the side, trying not to laugh but clearly unsure what to do, was Tyler. Tyler, the boy I'd been crushing on for months, maybe longer. I'd never told anyone, not about being into guys, not about Tyler. And now, there I was, completely exposed in every way. Tommy was making all kinds of jokes, pointing, laughing, calling me names. But Tyler wasn't laughing. He was staring. At me. At it. And then, no joke, I saw him lick his lips before quickly looking away. My face burned. My heart was racing, but not just from embarrassment. There was something else. Something that almost made it worth it. They left, eventually, took off down the trail, still laughing. And I had no choice but to walk home with nothing on, praying I wouldn't run into anyone. But I did. Tyler. He was standing on the trail, holding my clothes like some kind of weird guardian angel. He looked nervous, guilty even. "Sorry about Tommy," he said. "He's a dick. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." I stared at him. Then I blurted it out. "Did you like what you saw? You were looking, and you licked your lips." He tried to deny it. Of course he did. But I saw his face. And just as I was pulling my underwear back up, I paused, heart hammering. I pulled it back out, still naked in front of him. He didn't look away. He reached out, and after that, everything changed. We started hanging out more. At first, it was quiet, careful. He'd sneak over to my house when my parents were away. We'd hook up in the woods sometimes, too. It wasn't just about sex, though, yeah, the tension was insane. We'd talk, laugh, sometimes just sit and be near each other. Tomorrow starts our senior year. We're both 18. We're in love, but we're still a secret. I'm scared he might act different around people. Scared I'll go back to being invisible, or worse, a joke. But when we're alone, he's mine, and I'm his.
I didn't mean to be there that day. Tommy said we were just going for a walk, maybe hit up the gas station or screw around near the creek. I should have known he had something planned. He always did. And when I saw Jonathan's clothes on a rock, I knew something wasn't right. Then we saw him, naked, wet, caught off guard. Tommy burst out laughing like it was the funniest thing he'd ever seen. But I couldn't laugh. I couldn't look away. Because the truth was, I'd noticed Jonathan a long time ago. Quiet, smart, kind of shy, but something about him just stuck in my mind. I'd never admitted it to anyone, not even myself, not really. But when I saw him like that, something clicked. I felt want badly. I saw him see me looking. I even licked my lips, totally unaware. It was stupid. I looked away, ashamed, confused. I left with Tommy, pretending like it was nothing. But I couldn't leave it at that. I circled back, grabbed his clothes, waited for him on the trail. I didn't have a plan, just knew I couldn't let it end that way. When I handed him his stuff, he looked straight at me and said it. "Did you like what you saw?" I froze, tried to lie, tried to deny. But then he showed me again. I reached out before I even knew what I was doing. And from that moment on, I couldn't stay away. It started with touches, kisses, breathless nights in the woods or in his room when his parents were out. But then we started talking more, joking, hanging out like normal guys. And that felt even better than the sex. Now it's almost school again. Senior year. I'm scared. Scared someone's going to find out. Scared Tommy's going to figure it out. But most of all, I'm scared I'll mess this up. Because I've never felt anything like this before. With anyone. And I don't want to lose him.
The air felt thick with anticipation as I made my way down the trail. The crunch of dry leaves under my boots louder than usual. Tyler had been texting me all day, urging me to meet him. No one was home at my place. And I knew where this was going. The same place it always did when we snuck away like this. The woods had become our place. The place where we didn't have to pretend. The place where we could forget about the world, about school, about all the bullshit. When I saw him, my heart skipped. Tyler was leaning against a tree, one hand in his pocket, the other rubbing his neck nervously. He looked up when I stepped forward, his expression softening. He always looked at me like that, like he could read me even when I couldn't read myself. "Hey," he said, his voice low. "Hey," I answered, my throat tight. The silence between us was comfortable but charged, like the calm before a storm. We'd been hooking up in secret for months now, but this was different. Tomorrow was the first day of senior year, and everything was about to change. I could feel the weight of it pressing in on us. "You nervous?" he asked, stepping toward me, his hands sliding into mine like they had a million times before. I shook my head, but I couldn't hide the flutter in my chest. "Yeah, a little. You?" Tyler smiled, that knowing grin that made me want to kiss him and punch him all at once. "Yeah, kind of feels like we're on the edge of something. Like if we take the wrong step, everything changes. Does it have to change?" I whispered, tracing my fingers over his wrist, the touch more intimate than anything I could say. His smile faded and his eyes softened. "I don't know, but we've been keeping this a secret for so long, John. What happens when we don't have to anymore?" I swallowed hard. The words caught in my throat. I wanted to tell him that I wasn't ready for things to change, not when everything with him felt so right. But I couldn't shake the feeling that no matter how much we wanted to pretend, school, our friends, the world, it was all about to catch up with us. "You want to find out?" he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I didn't answer with words. Instead, I pulled him in, closing the space between us, my lips crashing into his with a hunger that surprised even me. It wasn't slow or soft, like some romantic movie kiss. It was rough, desperate, like I was afraid if I didn't kiss him hard enough, he might disappear. Tyler's hands were already at the hem of my shirt, pulling it over my head, his fingers trailing across my skin, as if he was mapping out every inch of me. I didn't care who might hear us, didn't care who might see us. In that moment, it was just us. I pulled back, breathless, looking at him with wide eyes. "Are you sure about this? About us?" Tyler didn't hesitate. He cupped my face, his thumb brushing my lips before he kissed me again, this time slower, deeper. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life," he murmured. And just like that, the weight of everything melted away. It wasn't about tomorrow, or the stupid rumors that might start, or what people might say. It was about now, about being with him, in this moment. I pushed him back against the tree, hands tugging at his clothes, wanted to feel him against me. We didn't speak much after that. Our bodies did the talking. His touch was familiar, and yet it always felt new. Every time we came together like this, it was like we were learning each other all over again, feeling the tension rise between us until it couldn't be ignored any longer. When we finally stopped, both of us panting, leaning against each other for support, Tyler's fingers traced a line on my jaw. "Tomorrow it's all going to change," he said softly. I nodded, pressing my forehead to his. "Yeah, but right now it's just us." I knew he was the only one I wanted and needed.
Every time Jonathan and I were together, I felt like I could breathe. The world outside, the school, my friends, it all seemed so far away when he was with me. And every time we met like this in the woods or at his house when no one was around, it felt like we were creating something we couldn't share with anyone else. But it was getting harder, knowing that soon we'd have to face everyone. We'd have to pretend again. I didn't want to, but I didn't know how else to survive high school. No one could know. Not yet. When Jonathan walked toward me, I couldn't help but smile. He was nervous, I could tell, but there was something in his eyes that made me feel like maybe we were both feeling the same thing. This wasn't just about sex. It was about us. I'd been thinking about what would happen after senior year for weeks. I knew what I wanted, but I wasn't sure if I was ready for fallout. But as he kissed me, as his hands pulled me in, I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about tomorrow or how much we were hiding. All I cared about was him. We were both caught up in it, our hands scrambling, our bodies tangled up in a way that was just as messy as it was beautiful. When we finally stopped, I had this sense of calm that I couldn't explain. I'll figure it out, I said quietly, my voice rough. We'll figure it out. Just don't push me away. Jonathan looked at me with those eyes that always made me feel like I was his world. I won't, he promised. In that moment, I felt like we were meant to be.
The next day, the world seemed a little heavier. Senior year was here, and with it came the weight of expectations, of secrets we weren't sure how to keep anymore. Tyler and I didn't talk about what happened after that night in the woods. Not out loud. But when I caught him looking at me across the cafeteria, his eyes meeting mine with that same soft intensity, I knew he felt it too. The unspoken promise between us was still there. Maybe things would change. Maybe they'd stay the same. But for now, we had each other. And no matter what happened tomorrow or the day after, we would still be us. Just us. And honestly, that was all I needed.
I looked over at Jonathan again, catching him mid-laugh with his friends. The same laugh I'd been lucky enough to hear when it was just the two of us. The smile that made everything feel less complicated. But I knew that smile might not be for me, not in the way I wanted. I didn't know what the future held, or how we'd navigate the mess that was high school. But right now, as I watched him walk down the hallway, I knew I'd figure out. We'd figure it out. Maybe tomorrow or the next day, we'd stop pretending. But until then, I'd be right here, waiting for the moments when it was just us.